Okay, this is the chapter 9 and 10 review for your test. Okay, so here, number 1, we're multiplying two radicals, so the rule is to multiply the numbers on the outside. So 6 times 4 will give you 24. And then we're going to multiply the numbers on the inside. So on the inside you have 3 times 21, and whenever you do 3 times 21, you will get 63. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to reduce this. So I'm going to start here at 63. I'm going to go ahead and use 3 and 21. Okay, and then I know 21 can be divided by 3. There's 3 and 7, and I can't do anything else. So what I have is I still have a 24 on the outside. I'm going to bring down. And for the square root, we're going to put our prime numbers in there. So we have 3 times 7. You look for your pairs, circle it, and that comes out on the outside of your radical. So cross it off, and I have a 7 left over. So to simplify this, we're just going to do 24 times 3 to give us 72. So 72 square root of 7 is our final answer. Okay, number 2, which equation corresponds to the graph shown? The best way to do this is you can put these into y equals. So first one's x squared plus 7x minus 12. You can look at your graph. And this one, see, it looks like on my graph we're going by 3's. So this crosses past 3, probably around 4, and that's probably going to be at negative 3. And if you look at the graph for letter F, it crosses in between 1 and 2, so letter F will not work. Okay, letter G, we can type that in. So x squared minus x minus 12. Hit graph. That looks like I cross at a positive 4 and a negative 3, so that looks about right. Let's check H. So H is x squared plus 5x plus 12. Look at your graph. That doesn't even cross the x-axis, so that is wrong. And then looking at J, x squared plus 12x minus 1. When you look at that graph, that crosses right at 0, 0, and so that is not even the correct graph. So G would be your correct graph. Alright, number 3, find the equation of the axis of the symmetry and the coordinates of the vertex of the graph. So axis of symmetry is going to be x equals something, and then for our vertex, okay, we know that's going to be an order pair. So I'm going to put this in y equals 2x squared minus 12x plus 6. I'll go ahead and look at my graph. My vertex is either the highest or lowest point. I can't see it, so I'm going to hit zoom 0, enter. And in this case, it is the lowest point, so I'm going to hit second trace, min. I'm going to go on the left side, hit enter. Move my little blinky over to the right side, and hit enter. Hit enter one more time. And my minimum is going to be at 3, negative 12. So my axis of symmetry is the x value, so x is equal to 3. These two numbers right here will always be the same. Okay, number 4, find the coordinates of the vertex of the graph y equals negative 2x squared minus 8, identified as a max or min. So y equals negative 2x squared minus 8. Go ahead and look at my graph. So I'm going to hit zoom 0. Well, I first know that this is going to be maximum because it is the highest point. And now I'm going to go ahead and find the vertex. So to find the vertex on my calculator, I hit second trace. I'm doing max, so number 4. Alright, so to find my vertex, I had to do the left bound. So I'm moving my blinky to be on the left side, then I gotta do the right bound, so I'm moving my blinky to be on the right side, and hit enter for guess. So it looks like my vertex will be at 0, negative 8. So if you get something weird like negative 3.836 e to the negative 7, that just means it's really, 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 really close to 0. All right, number 5, what are the roots of the quadratic equation whose related function is graphed at the right? So all this is looking right here at the x-axis. You want to see where it crosses. So cross here at 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer here for this one, the roots would be at 0, 0, and 4, 0. You can also see it as x equals 0 and x equals 4. Okay, number 6, one root of the quadratic equation whose related function is graphed lies between which two consecutive integers? So here, again, we're looking right along the x-axis. It crosses twice, right here and right here. So the two numbers that it is in between, there's two of them. It can be between 0 and 1, or it can be between the numbers -1, -2, and -3. Okay, how's the graph of y equals, or sorry, the graph of g of x equal to x squared minus 3 related to the graph of y equals x squared? So for this one, all you need to do is look and see that you have a minus 3. You can put this into y1 and y2, but what you're going to end up seeing is that all it does is it shifts the graph 3 units down. Okay, solve each equation by using the quadratic formula, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So for number 8, a is equal to 4, b is equal to 11, c is equal to -3, and I can say that because it said equal to 0. So x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac. So ac all over 2a. So we're going to reduce this. So x is equal to -11 plus or minus the square root. That's 11 squared is 121. And then we have plus, because you have a negative times a negative. 4 times 4 times 3 is 48. All of that is over 8. So x is equal to -11 plus or minus 121 plus 48 will give me 169. So square root of 169 over 8. So this is -11 plus or minus the square root of 169 is 13 all over 8. So you have two things you have to do. You got to add and subtract. So -11 plus 13 over 8 and -11 minus 13 over 8. So we will get two answers here. -11 plus 13 divided by 8. That will give us 0.25. And -11 minus 13 divided by 8 will give us -3. So the two answers that I will have, x is equal to 0.25 and -3. Okay, number 9. So I'm going to switch colors here. This has to be set equal to 0, so y squared plus 8y minus 2 is equal to 0. Alright, so a is equal to 1, b is equal to 8, c is equal to -2. So x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So x is equal to -8 plus or minus the square root of 64 plus -4 times -2 is a positive 8 all over 2. So we have x is equal to -8 plus or minus the square root. 64 plus 8 will give us a 72 divided by 2. Okay, the square root of 72 gives you a really long decimal, so we're going to go ahead and split this up. Whoops, did not want to do that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and split this up. So -8 plus the square root of 72 divided by 2, and negative 8 minus the square root of 72 divided by 2, and we're running to the nearest tenth. So negative 8 plus the square root of 72 divided by 2 will give me 0.24, and negative 8 minus the square root of 72 divided by 2 will give me negative 8.24. So my answer here will be x is equal to 0.24 and negative 8.24. Okay, so that was number 9. Number 10, we are going to combine what we can. So I'm going to start with the square root of 18. So square root of 18, that's 2 and 9. That's 3 and 3. So we have 2 times 3 times 3. I have a pair of 3's I can write down, cross off. I have a 2 left over. Okay, in the middle one, I have 54. So I can do 9 and 6. So that's 3 and 3, and that's 2 and 3. So I have the square root of 1, 2, and I have 3 3's. So there's a pair of 3's I can pull out. I have 2 times 3 left over, which is 6. We'll bring that minus sign down. And then we have 2 still on the outside. 50, I can do 5 and 10. That gives me 2 and 5. So you have 2 square roots of, I have 1, 2, and I have 2 5's. So I have a pair of 5's I can pull out. I have a square root of 2 left over. 2 times 5 is 10. Square root of 2. So the only thing I can combine here is what has a square root of 2 in it. So 3 plus 10 will give me 13. So I will have 13 square roots of 2 minus 3 square roots of 6. Alright, number 11, we are multiplying, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a box method. Easiest way to organize this. So I have square root of 14 plus the square root of 3, square root of 6 minus the square root of 17. So we're going to multiply the inside. So 14 times 6 gives me 84. 14 times 17 gives me, so this is minus 238. 3 and 6 will give me 18, and 3 times 17 will give me 51. So that'll be a minus square root of 51. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify these over here off to the side. So we'll start with 84. 84, I can do 12 and 7. So that will give me 3 and 4. That will give me 2 and 2. So those are my prime numbers. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Pair of 2's. 3 times 7 is 21. So that's as far as I can simplify it. So this will be 2 square roots of 21. Oh man, this is a long problem. 238. Okay, well, 238, I know 17 can go into it, so I'll do 14 and 17, 2 and 7. If you notice, there are no pairs at all, so I can't pull anything out, so that's just going to have to stay the square root of 238. So I'll leave this as minus the square root of 238. 18. I'm going to go over this way, so 18 will be my next one. 18, we could do 2 and 9, that's 3 and 3. So I have the square root of 2 times 3 times 3. Pair of 3's I can pull out with 2 left over, so that's 3 square roots of 2. And the last one, I have 51, so let me do 51. And 51, I know 17 will go into it, and it's just 17 and 3. There's no pair, so that's just going to be the square root of 51. So we'll leave this as minus the square root of 51. So if you notice all my answers, there's absolutely nothing I can combine. So my final answer is 2 square roots of 21 minus the square root of 238 plus 3 square roots of 2 minus the square root of 51. All right, number 12. So again, we're going to go ahead and multiply the numbers on the outside. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. And then we'll multiply these numbers on the inside. 6 times 2 is 12. Go ahead and reduce 12. So we will have 15 on the outside. On the outside we have 2 times 2 times 3. There's a pair of 2's I can pull out. I have a square root of 3 left over. 15 times 2 is 30. So 30 square roots of 3. Okay, 13 says find the equation of the axis of symmetry and the coordinates of the graph of y equals negative x squared minus 10x plus 17. So to be able to find the axis of symmetry, that would be x equals, you need to know your vertex. Okay, so y equals, I'm going to type this in, negative x squared minus 10x plus 17, zoom 0. And I have a max, so second trace, I'm going to hit 4 for maximum. You want to be on the left side of that max. So I'm going to move my arrow over on the left side, move my arrow over to be on the right side, hit enter one more time. So my max would be negative 5, comma 42. So x is equal to negative 5 would be my axis of symmetry. Because remember, these numbers are always the same. Okay, 14, find the coordinates of the vertex of the graph y equals 3x squared minus 6. Identify the vertex as a max or a min. So y equals 3x squared minus 6. 3x squared minus 6, zoom 0, because that always makes the window really nice. That's a min, so I can go ahead and write down that I have a minimum. And so my vertex is whatever those points are for that minimum. So second trace, I'm going to hit 3 for minimum. I need to be on the left side, then the right side, then hit enter one more time. So my minimum will be 0, comma, negative 6. So again, when you do this, sometimes the graph will give you like 1.4537e to the negative 6. Anytime you have anything like that, just round it to 0. All right, number 15. So we are combining whatever radicals I can. So let me go ahead and start with 32. That's 4 times 8. That's 2 times 2. That's 2 times 4. That's 2 times 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2's. So 3 and then 5 2's. I have 2 pairs I can pull out. So 3 times 2 times 2. I have a 2 left over. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So 12 square roots of 2. Okay, middle one I can do 2 times 9. That's 3 times 3. So I still have this minus 2 I'm going to break down. 2 times 3 times 3. A pair of 3's I can pull out. Square root of 2 is left over. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. Square root of 2. And the last one that I have is a 54. So for 54, I can do 9 and 6. So that's 3 and 3. That's 2 times 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3 3's. So a pair of 3's I can pull out. So 2 times 3 is 6, which is left over. The only thing I can combine here is, let me see, this piece right here, because they both have a square root of 2 in it. So I'll put here my final answer. 12 minus 6 is 6, so 6 square roots of 2 plus 3 square roots of 6. Okay, and that's it. That's all that we have for the review. So if you have any questions, just let me know, or you can always rewind it and watch this over again.